Hi viewers, this is Dr. Athar Mansoor from TRACS. In this video, I am going to review for you Memoir by Melania Trump. It's a very interesting book. It was published in 2024. But before I review this book for you, I would request you to please kindly subscribe to our channel tracks.pakistan. There is a playlist on book reviews and there are many other interesting playlists. And I have reviewed at least 8 books. Some of them you can see on the screen. So this book was published by Skyhorse in 2024, and it provides an in-depth first-person account of Melania's life from her childhood in Slovenia to her experiences as the First Lady of the US and beyond. She aims to reveal the woman behind the public persona, illuminate the values and experiences that have shaped her, and offer insights into the complexities of life in the public eye. Melania states her wish to set the record straight and provide the actual content of her experiences. Melania was born on 26th of April 1970, and contrary to some published accounts, she describes her childhood in Slovenia as a happy and positive childhood. Her mother, Emma Ligia, was born in 1945 and was a talented artist, pattern maker, and tailor who worked for children's clothing factory and instilled in Melania the importance of self-care and attention to appearance. Father Victor, born in 1941, was confident, industrious, and passionate about automobiles, and parents of Melania got married in a civil ceremony and later in a Catholic church. Despite Slovenia being part of communist Yugoslavia, Melania says that she felt more connected to Italians and Austrians. Italy and Australia are the neighbors of Slovenia. She also mentions how her family prospered due to their strong work ethic and determination, and she cherishes her time with her older sister Inez, sharing a love for music, design, literature, and fashion. Her early experiences, which she states or mentions in the book, included attending concerts of Elton John, Tina Turner, and traveling with Inez to places like Venice in Italy. About her early life and European roots, Melania continues and tells her that from a young age, she demonstrated strong organizational skills, curiosity, and a diligent work ethic, and she excelled academically and learned many she describes herself as kind of multilingual because she learned many phrases in German, Italian, and Russian. She was a sporty person from the very beginning and engaged into sports like gymnastics, basketball, handball, and tennis, but recalls being targeted for her appearance, being perceived as too tall and too skinny as a child, reflecting on the cruelty of her peers. Her modeling career began at the age of 6 when she modeled for her mother's creations on a runway. At 17, while studying at a school for design and photography in Ljubljana, she was approached by photographer Stan Jerko, leading to her first professional photo shoot. She won a modeling contest in Italy organized by Cinecittà in 1990, but felt betrayed because her prize money disappeared. In 1992, she was placed second in a Slovenian contest, which was titled as Look of the Year. And this led her to sign a contract with RVR, which was a modeling agency in Milan. Subsequently, she switched to prestigious Riccardo Gay agency in Milan. After spending a couple of successful years in Milan, she moved to Paris, which was the beginning of her successful career at a wider scale in Europe. She focused on commercial modeling due to her curvier physique. And in 1996, at the age of 26, she made the significant decision of moving to New York because she thought that this was the place where she was meant to be. And she went on to take this decision because she wanted to discover the American market. She secured a work visa and gained bookings with prestigious department stores and magazines, and started to enjoy city's culture, its museums, and the independence that city gave to her. She eventually became a citizen in July 2006, but recalls how this was an arduous immigration process because it took her about 10 years. As I mentioned, she moved to New York in 1996. She met for the first time Donald Trump at a Kit Kat club in September 1998 during Fashion Week, and she was captivated. She candidly mentions that she was captivated by his charm and easygoing nature, but declined to give him her number, but took his and called him later from the Caribbean. Finally, their first date was a drive to his property in Bedford, New York, which she found to be very Donald, which was a mix of his business and pleasure lifestyle. She connected with him despite their 24 years of age difference, admiring Donald Trump's authenticity, work ethic, and zest for life. They kept their courtship private initially, but eventually attended high-profile events. She dismisses in the book the gold digger accusations which were launched against her, emphasizing her own successful modeling career as the key to her success. And she also says that she valued her privacy and autonomy, contrasting it with Trump's public approach. So they were different in this kind of approach towards life. Trump proposed Melania on 26th of April 2004 and gave her an emerald cut diamond ring at the Met Gala. The wedding finally took place on 22nd of January 2005 with the reception at Mar-a-Lago, and her dress was a strapless Dio gown by John Galliano, adorned with 1,500 pearls and rhinestones. The event attracted global media coverage and featured notable guests and performers like Tony Bennett and Billy Joel. Finally, their first son was born in March 2006, Baron William Trump. Melania decided to step back from public life to prioritize raising him, because she wanted to give that warmth and love, and she found purpose and fulfillment in life through this motherhood. She credits this to her own mother as guiding influence in her parenting, and finally she lost her mother in January 2004. Melania also launched a couple of business ventures. The first one was in 2009, Melania Timepieces and Jewelry. It was inspired by a gold bracelet her father gave to her mother, and this became a success. Later, she partnered with New Sunshine in 2011 to create a high-end skincare line, but this business did not fully materialize. This line did not fully materialize. After that, Melania describes her transition to First Lady of the US, and how she recalls how Donald Trump announced his presidential candidacy on June 16th, 2015, which was a historic moment for her and Trump. And she noted how his focus, passion, and frankness during his announcement speech were really shown or depicted as his strength. At the RNC in July 2016, she spoke to introduce herself and share her story, values, and insights about Trump, but she acknowledges relying on Meredith McLever and the campaign for speech wetting, but was dismayed and shocked by accusations of plagiarism, realizing the campaign and the RNC had left on her own and feeling that profound sense of betrayal through this episode. Melania also describes how she faced intense media scrutiny, including the republication of nude photos from 1996 for a French fashion magazine, which she considered artistic but were exploited to damage the campaign. She describes the filing of the lawsuits against the Daily Mail and a blogger for false allegations, winning all three cases and receiving formal apologies. She states that these lawsuits were about holding individuals to standard where lying is not acceptable. After the 2016 elections, she found herself in a whirlwind of activity with a relentless schedule. She describes her initial visit to White House and how Michelle Obama's gracious tour and advice influenced her. And later on, she formed her First Lady team, which was small, about 12 people. And she wanted to keep it responsive, nimble, and effective, and focused on few areas like, through this team, on few areas like cybersecurity and children's well-being. Her move to White House was a little bit delayed, and she moved in June 2017. and then prioritize creating a comfortable home for her son, including decorating his room. She embraced the role of First Lady as a power and ample opportunities for making a positive impact, and then started a series of initiatives there, which included renovations. So she restored because she thought that White House is the people's house, and she worked with interior designer Tam Kanalikam and focused on revitalizing rooms like the green room and red room, designing a custom rug for the yellow oval room, uncovering historic Zuber wallpaper, renovating the Queen's bedroom, restoring the East room floor, and updating the White House bowling alley. She also recalls how she was involved in construction of a new White House tennis pavilion funded by a private donation, renovations at Camp David, and redesign of the Rose Garden, including the installation of a sculpture by Isamu Noguchi. She also meticulously planned and hosted White House events, including the governor's ball and state dinners, such as the one for French president, and dedicated herself to Christmas planning at the White House. As far as global engagements are concerned, she traveled extensively on her own and with Trump, and her notable international trips in 2017 included those to Saudi Arabia, Israel, Rome, Belgium, and Sicily. She was greeted warmly by King Salman of Saudi Arabia, who broke tradition by shaking and kissing her hand. In Rome, she recalls that how she met Pope Francis, who jokingly asked if she fed Donald Trump potica, which is a Slovenian pastry. She also recalls how she visited Bambino Gesù Children's Hospital, where she was moved by a young boy awaiting a heart transplant. Later, she felt good when she learned that a heart had been found for him. In Brussels, she met the Queen and shared her concerns about online bullying. In October 2018, she went to Ghana, Malawi, Kenya, Egypt on a solo trip because she wanted to elevate her Be Best initiative globally. Visited the door of no return in Ghana, reflecting on the history of slavery. In Malawi, she was struck by the larger number of students and lack of resources at a primary school, where she distributed school supplies and helped announce a book donation. In Kenya, she fed baby elephants and found fulfillment engaging with children at Nest Children's Home Orphanage. And finally, in Egypt, she visited the pyramids and Sphinx. She also recalls how in May 2019, she reconnected with Prime Minister Shinzo Abe of Japan and her wife, visiting a digital art museum where children created Be Best inspired art. In June 2018 and 2019, she met Queen Elizabeth II, whom she described as a genuine connection, and shared a light-hearted and spontaneous moment of laughter with her. She also dined with Prince Charles. Melania's support for military is also mentioned in this book. She writes that how she supported the military through visits to bases at Langley Air Force Base and aircraft carriers like USS George H.W. Bush. She joined Trump on a secret Christmas visit to Iraq in December 2018, noting the importance of supporting service members away from their families. Her Be Best initiative is mentioned in quite detail, in some detail in this book, because it was launched on May 7, 2018. And this was an overarching initiative focused on the well-being of children, their online safety, which is cyberbullying, and tackling opioid abuse. She was motivated by the pervasive dangers of the digital world, especially after her son Barron was targeted by a cyberbullying campaign, including a tweet from Rosie O'Donnell suggesting he was autistic. And she describes this, and she calls O'Donnell's actions as cruel and invasive and heartless. She recalls that how she hosted discussions with tech executives from Facebook, Google, Amazon, Snapchat, and Twitter to address harmful online content, expressing concern about anonymity fostering negativity. But she was taken aback by the resistance from tech executives regarding free speech concerns, and this did not deter her from her efforts. Her Be Best initiative received positive feedback from parents and support from organizations like the Family Online Safety Institute and other First Ladies globally. She defended the initiative's title, hashtag Be Best, as intentionally chosen for its strength, positivity, and confidence. And she made progress in combating cyberbullying, example discussions with Microsoft on parental controls and addressing opioid addiction. In this book, Melania also frankly tells about her moments of crisis and challenges, which were from 2017 to 2020, and how she responded to them. For example, Hurricane Harvey in Texas, where she served food and provided comfort to the people, how she visited Vegas after the mass shooting in October 2017, meeting victims and first responders, and how she addressed the zero tolerance policy causing family separation at the US southern border in 2018, where she emphasized the government should not be taking children away from their parents, and this had to stop. And subsequently, Trump announced the end of the policy. Melania also, in her moments of crisis and challenges, explains her controversial "I really don't care, do you" jacket, stating it was a message for the media, who she felt were unconcerned with their opinions of her and not about the children or the border situation. She reflected also in this book on the impeachment proceedings against Donald Trump in late 2019, early 2020, believing them to be a grand political spectacle. She also expresses concern about the spread of COVID-19, particularly during their trip to India in February 2020, and how she implemented strict safety protocols in the White House. She talks about herself and Trump contracting the virus in October 2020 and how Donald Trump experienced more severe symptoms. Also, she mentions about the racial unrest and protests in May 2020, where she supported peaceful protests but condemned violence. She has also expressed doubts about the fairness of the 2020 elections results, noting the prolonged counting of the votes and media's negative coverage of Donald Trump. After leaving the White House in 2021, she felt humbled by the opportunity to serve and determined to continue her work as a private citizen. And she launched Fostering the Future, a Be Best initiative, providing scholarships for tech-focused university education to children in the foster care system. This initiative is primarily funded through her involvement with blockchain technologies, including melaniatrump.com and usmemorabilia.com, which she uses for autonomy from third-party technology companies that don't like her name or her politics. In the post-White House life, she describes the FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago on August 8th, 2022 as a politically motivated intrusion and a profound sense of personal violation, noting that agents searched even her bedroom, closets, and her son's room. She states she had no classified documents and found the act like a breach of trust and security. Compares this raid to the pervasive state surveillance she experienced growing up in communist Slovenia, where her father's lifestyle was investigated by authorities. She also shares her experience of the assassination attempt on July 13, 2024 on Donald Trump, and expressed shock, worry for her family, and gratitude for the secret service of the US. She acknowledges the bravery of Corey Comparatori, a firefighter who died shielding his family, and calls for national unity, love, and respect in her drafted letter to the American people. Viewers, as far as critical evaluation of this book is concerned, Melania presents a highly personal and subjective narrative of her life, consistently framing events from her perspective with the stated goal of setting the record straight and showcasing her authentic self. The memoir emphasizes her resilience, independence, and strong work ethic from a young age through her modeling career, business ventures, and tenure as First Lady. The memoir portrays her as methodical, organized, and dedicated, especially in her work on White House renovations and the Be Best initiative, where she details her hands-on approach to these projects and her commitment to helping children. Her interactions with foreign leaders are generally depicted in this book as warm and productive, highlighting her diplomatic efforts. There are a few strengths of this book. It has achieved a lot of commercial success and accessibility. The #1 New York Times bestseller rank and status, and became a publisher weekly bestseller. Readers generally praise it as well-written and eloquent, with some noting that it reads like a novel. Another strength is that Melania has, through her personal revelations, made this book interesting. She reveals previously unknown personal beliefs, such as being pro-choice, contrasting with her husband's views. She covers her journey from socialist Slovenia through her modeling career to the White House. The book has a narrative structure, shows Melania is a resilient woman who stands true to what she believes in and loves her family through and through. It covers key life phases chronologically from childhood to First Lady tenure. There are, however, many weaknesses. For example, writing quality and depth. Critics describe the writing as riddled with generalities and cliches at a level they haven't seen since teaching college freshmen. So this is one of the critics. There is another critic which characterizes the book as a 180-page exercise in buck passing and blame dodging. People also criticize it as having lack of substantive content. It is criticized for lack of insight into her marriage with Trump and having an obfuscating writing style which barely grapples with the mysteries of her marriage. In matters of political significance, Melania does not give us too much and leaves readers asking why she has chosen to bare her soul just weeks before the elections. There are also tone and authenticity concerns. The dominant theme is described as one of graceful grievance. Critics note an unmistakable formality to the marriage in her descriptions, and some view fact-checking as beside the point, suggesting concerns about accuracy. Viewers, thank you so much for watching this book review video on Melania. Again, request is to please subscribe to our channel so that you stay updated about these interesting videos. Thank you for watching this. Join TRACS.